The draft order is completely set, and we're here to complete a full first-round mock draft. I'm Ryan Wilson, CBS Sports draft analyst and the host of With the First Pick podcast. I'm joined by Douzable, our CBS Sports football analyst who spent a decade playing the NFL. Going to power through these picks in alternating order. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know how we did. All right, let's get to it, Lige. I'm going to go first. I'm the Chicago Bears. Debo, pull up the mock draft simulator, and I'll make this pretty simple. This ain't going to take long.
This ain't going to take long at all?
Not long at all. All right. The draft has started. The Bears are taking Caleb Williams. I ain't taking no phone calls. We'll trade Justin Fields for a second and whatever else comes along with it. And we're getting on with the getting on. Got Shane Waldron there. It's a new OC. Our guy, Aberflus, trying to save his job, so we're going to be on point. All right. You're up, Lige. Second overall pick. You're the Washington Commanders. No affiliation to Rick Spielman. We got to say that every time we talk about the Commanders.
No affiliation to Rick Spielman. So Ryan, this one probably won't be as quick because there's a lot of conversations where the Commanders take Drake May. Will they take Jaden Daniels? To me, Jaden Daniels is a better prospect, right? You talk about what he can do off script, the mobility of Jaden Daniels. And yes, Drake May does have some. But we saw Jaden Daniels tear up the best conference in all of football this past year in the SEC, right? So if I'm the Commanders, I'm taking Jaden Daniels at the number 2 overall pick instead of Drake May.
I don't hate it. And also fit matters. And we talk about my comp for him is Lamar Jackson. He's not as thick as Lamar.
Yeah.
But Lamar went 32nd. We did a redraft. He wouldn't go 32nd. He's the MVP.
Well, I think also you got to think about this, right? The OC is Cliff Kingsbury, right? So you got to think some of the things that Jaden Daniels did in college is going to really mesh well what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do in that air raid offense, spread offense. So just to me, it's a better fit with Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels.
And no player helped himself more than Jaden Daniels over the course of last year. Now, my buddy Rick Spielman's contention is that, well, he's a one-year wonder, and that concerns me. I'm like, well, he took advantage of the opportunity. He got a ton better after they ran him out of Arizona State. So there's a couple ways to look at it.
And then you can look at it like this. Drake May didn't play as well this year than he did the previous year with better weapons.
Right. And typically high-round picks go to bad teams, and you got to figure that stuff out, unless you're CJ Stroud, in which case you just take it to another level. All right. Next up, the New England Patriots. Now, I'm tempted to think about Marvin Harrison Jr. here, but you cannot come out of this draft without a quarterback. I mean, the quarterback situation is in shambles. Neither of those guys, Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones, I would imagine are going to be there. Alex Van Pelt's the new OC. Gerard Mayo's the new coach who came over from the defensive side of the ball. I think you just got to start fresh, get a big, strong, athletic quarterback. I'm with you. I like Jaden Daniels a little better than Drake May, but that doesn't mean Drake May can't be good in the right system. Now, the question is this going to be the right system?
Oof.
I don't know. I think it's better than the Matt Patricia / Bill O'Brien system.
Correct.
But we'll see how far and how quickly. So, Debo, give me Drake May, 3rd overall to the New England Patriots. They got to get a quarterback. By the way, best case scenario for you now coming up for the Cardinals.
Without a doubt. And this is where the Cardinals are probably giddy. And this will probably be the fastest turned in card, right? If it goes how this simulator has gone, right? Like this Marvin Harrison pick to the Cardinals, soon as that Drake May name is called, or whether it's Jaden Daniels, they're going to run this card up. Marvin Harrison, I don't think much needs to be said about Marvin Harrison going number 4 overall. Get Kyler Murray some help on the offensive side.
So no amount of phone call and draft capital and trades, you're not answering?
No, not at all.
And you're sticking with Kyler. Kyler did more than enough to help himself.
I think he submitted himself as the guy.
I do too. Yeah. All right, next up, the Los Angeles Chargers, new head coach again. Part of me is thinking Brock Bowers here, but part of me is also thinking that Jim Harbaugh is going to run the ball.
Correct.
Because that's what he does. They got Greg Roman, I believe, as the new OC. Keep Justin Herbert upright because he took a whooping back there. They keep drafting offensive linemen, and they've done a pretty good job when they're healthy. Zion Johnson, Rashawn Slater. Give me Olaf Ashnu. Let's keep this thing rolling. I'm going to get an offensive tackle out of Penn State, Debo's guy. And we'll worry about all the other stuff later because if you don't have Justin Herbert, you don't have anything. And Jim Harbaugh showed he can win playing some pretty ugly offensive football.
Yeah, so this next pick, the number 6 pick, is very interesting. A lot of holes to fill on this Giants team, right? Debo, go ahead and
you say that as a Jets fan too, by the way.
Yeah, I know I am. Debo, go ahead and give me the team needs on offensive line. So, I mean, Joe Alt makes a lot of sense, right? He can play right tackle because they have a really good left tackle already up in New York. But they also need receiver help. So, I mean, receiver makes a lot of sense here, too. Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze.
Woo!
I think they need a true number one guy on the outside. But you know me, Ryan, I think you have to build it from the inside out. The thing is, they've struggled with draft picks besides Andrew Thomas, right? Everybody else has kind of struggled. This is where, like, and you know this, right? When you're in your meeting, right, and you look at your top 50 board, if Joe Alt is number 5 on your list and you're picking at number 6, you probably run it in. But if you have Malik Neighbors is like number 4 on your list, then it's like, do we take the receiver? And they could potentially even take a quarterback here too,
That's the other thing.
Or they could trade back. Right, they're in a good position to potentially trade back. Say the Atlanta Falcons or the the Raiders want to try to come up at this number 6 spot right here, right? Because we still have Michael Penix out there, JJ McCarthy out there. A lot of people will say this is probably too high to draft them at this point. So honestly, I think the Giants are going to take best available. So give me the look on best available right now, Debo. That's it right there. Yeah, I'm taking Malik. Taking Malik numbers.
Oh no,
Neighbors at number 5.
Dang it, because I'm the I'm the Titans, and I'm thinking whatever you don't do, I'm going to do. Joe Alt makes the most sense. They got Peter Skoronski last year, had a great start to his rookie season. He had the appendectomy, came back, wasn't quite as good, but that's understandable. If you had taken Joe Alt, I was taking Malik Neighbors here because we got to get some help for a guy, Will Levis. I'm taking Joe Alt because he took an absolute whooping last year. And Will Levis is the type of dude that it won't go down. He just keeps taking hits. So we'll help him help himself by making the offensive line a little better. All right, here we go. Atlanta Falcons, Raheem Morris, Zach Robinson's the OC. They got a lot of needs to start with the quarterback.
Yeah, they need a quarterback, but I don't think they'll take Penix this high. I don't think they'll take J.J. McCarthy this high. This could be another situation, right? If there's a team desperate enough to trade up, maybe it's the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe it's the Denver Broncos. Maybe it's the Las Vegas Raiders. The Atlanta Falcons are picking up the phone. But honestly, they need another edge guy, right? I think Dallas Turner makes too much sense.
Yep.
Raheem Morris, defensive-minded guy. Their defense actually played pretty well, even though it was in the much maligned NFC South, right? They need a guy that can constantly get pressure. If I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I'm taking Dallas Turner here.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. All right. Caleb went first overall, and now the question becomes, and we went through this earlier in the process when Caleb goes first, and it was easy. I would just take whichever edge rusher was left. It's either Jared Verse or Dallas Turner here.
Yep.
But Rome Odunze is sitting there too. And man, oh man, because Montez Sweat was special.
Yep.
And that defense changed once he showed up after the trade deadline.
They need one more guy on that edge, though.
And here's the thing, and you talked me into it. This wide receiver class is deep.
Yep.
This edge class isn't quite as deep. I'm taking Jared Verse, and that defense is going to continue to get better. We'll worry about the rest of this stuff later. Give me Jared Verse, and then, look who's going to get Rome Odunze.
And right, you already know I have affinity for my guy Rome Odunze. I think when it's all said and done, he could be the best receiver out of this class when it's all said and done. Now, this is the thing, right? The Jets are going to need to revamp that offensive line. Now, it'll be interesting to see what they do in free agency. I know Fuaga, Debo, can you go down the list to see best available where he's ranked at?
That's Joe Douglas's guy. I was going to ask you about him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So if you're Joe D, Fuaga's maybe your 14th best overall prospect. But if Rome Odunze is like your 8th overall prospect, do you risk the chance of leaving a generational type receiver when you know if you pair him with Garrett Wilson, you have 2 guys for the next 8 to 10 years potentially? That's the question mark. This is also another good spot for the Jets to be in because they could even trade back here, right? Again, This is around the area where teams will probably start looking at Michael Penix Jr. or maybe even JJ McCarthy. So if you're Vegas, you look at Minnesota and Denver in front of you, right? They're most likely probably going to take one of those 2 guys, right? So if you're the Jets, right, this is where you start fielding the calls. Let's go to the simulator, Debo. I want to tinker with this a little bit. Let's see what it would cost for the Las Vegas Raiders to move up.
Oh, he wants to do a trade, Debo.
Spot.
So wait, you're not thinking quarterback here though, as the Jets? You're not. That's not crossing your mind.
No, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think they're thinking quarterback. I think they think with Aaron Rodgers, they got 1, maybe 2 years. And honestly, I can see them taking a stab at a guy like Michael Pratt later on in the draft, maybe. But let's not also forget, Rye, The Jets don't have a second round pick. So that's why I think this trade back makes a lot of sense for them. You talk about a deep receiver class. Even if they don't get Rome Odunze, they could get a guy like Jalen Polk maybe in the second round if there's enough draft capital in this trade. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we need those first three. We probably need the one from next year too.
Let's see, the 13th, the 44th, the 77th, and the 1st to go up. Three spots.
But you're thinking about who's in front of you too.
That's the price of poker. Yeah. So just so we're clear, the Jets are at 10. The Vikings need a quarterback at 11. The Broncos need a quarterback at 12.
Exactly.
That's right. And right behind
you don't have to overpay. You're going to have to overpay to jump them.
That's true. And right behind you at 14 are the Saints, who also could be in the quarterback business.
I think the simulator is showing that too, because he highlighted all three of those picks, and it's still.
All right, you want to move back?
Yeah, I want to move back.
All right, let's make that trade, Debo. I think I'm Vegas, so I'm fine with doing that, and we'll keep. So did I get to make the trade now, and you make the Jets trade later? Is that right?
Yeah. So do you want to make the pick, or do you want me to make the pick?
I'll make this pick, and you make the Jets pick that you traded back.
Okay,
for.
Perfect.
I'm taking Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah.
We can't mess around. I love Michael Penix. It sounds like you do too. Some people are down on him. You can explain to me why at some point. I don't know what the issue is with him.
You know, people always try to find excuses. The biggest thing with Michael Penix Jr. to me, right, if the medical clears, I don't think there's a big issue. Now, people will point and go back to the national championship game. They say he looked really good versus Texas, not so much versus Michigan. But if you look at this draft, there's a lot of those Michigan guys that will be playing on Sundays in the NFL. So, like, again, did he have his best game? No. The nonsense about him throwing with more touch in the middle, me and you have had this discussion at arms. Yes, you maybe see a little bit more consistency, but he does it well. Like, we've seen it on film. It's not like we haven't seen it on film. We've seen him do it on film. And to me, there's no better deep ball thrower in this draft than Michael Penix Jr. So to me, the biggest thing is the medical. If the medical clears, I don't even think it should be a question mark.
Right.
If you're the Raiders, you don't want Denver or Minnesota taking this guy. You want to jump in front of them and get him.
All right, you're up at 11. The Minnesota Vikings don't get their quarterback here, so what are they doing?
Yeah, so this is the interesting thing. Will they sign Kirk Cousins? Justin Jefferson's due for a deal too. It'll be interesting to see what Kwesi, the GM, does in this scenario right here. They could use some O-line help. If you look at their defense, played significantly better under Brian Flores this year. You know, a lot of exotic different blitzes. They'll probably lose to Neil Hunter, but I think at this spot, there's no edge guy that you're willing to take this high in the draft. So honestly, this might come down to best available, right? And right now, I think that's Fuaga. Well, actually, yeah, I would say Fuaga because Rome Odunze is still out there, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and they got it tied in already, so I don't think Brock Bowers makes a lot of sense. Corner actually makes a lot of sense here, too. I'm not as high on Terrion Arnold as some of the other guys. Quinyon Mitchell, I'm a little higher on.
I love Quinyon. Quinyon's my CB1 right now.
Yeah, and then also when you look at my guy Ennis Rakestraw, I'm higher on him than I am Arnold as well too. But Arnold does have the flexibility to go inside and outside, right? So makes a lot of sense in that Brian Flores system. I'll take Terrion Arnold right there at the 11th spot.
Yeah, I don't hate it. All right, 12. This is easy. Rome Odunze still sitting there. They lose another wide receivers.
Dang it.
Typically, yeah, you try to straighten out again. You're not gonna fool George Payton and Sean. By the way, the other thing about the quarterback with Denver is Sean never has had a rookie quarterback. He's not rolling with a rookie quarterback unless something changes. Now, if they draft JJ McCarthy, I'll be shocked. I don't think he plays right away. They do need a quarterback. I mean, maybe Russ is the guy. Doesn't feel like it, but I'm getting Rome Odunze.
In regards to Kirk Cousins being out there, do you think that's a possibility?
That's the other thing. Absolutely. I would give it serious consideration. I actually saw something where the Dolphins should be in the Kirk Cousins business and trade Tua.
Really?
That's speculation. Because they don't want to pay. If you're going to pay someone, you can pay Tua rates for Kirk Cousins for a couple of years, and you don't have to pay Tua $50 million.
I think Gardner Minshew is another guy that comes to mind too for Denver. That would make some sense.
He just, I mean, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. He's
as a bridge guy.
He's probably better than Russ.
Well, in Sean Payton's eyes, for sure.
All right, so that trade got us off track. So Debo says you get to do 13 and 14. So you get the Jets and and the Saints. So you get
Well,
back-to-back
well,
picks.
well, Joe D gets his guy, right? He traded back,
Yeah.
got draft capital, and he still gets Fuaga.
So wait a second. If Rome was still here, what would you have done?
I would have took Rome. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I wouldn't have took Rome just because he's to me again. It depends on where you have him on your top 50 board. If Rome Odunze is like your number 7 or 8 overall prospect, and Fuaga's 14, I think you have to go with the guy that's rated that much higher. Even though the offensive tackle is a need, but receiver is a need as well too.
Right.
So I would have probably went Rome Odunze, but because you staked him for the Denver Broncos, I'm going to go ahead and get Fuaga.
All right. Now you're up with the Saints, Mickey Loomis. I feel like this is pretty easy.
Do you take Bowers here?
He's the best of both worlds. They need a receiver and they need a tight end. What's your issue?
Juwan Johnson's nice though.
Yeah, but I mean, you can have more than one of him.
You can. They got a new OC too now, right? Because I think Carmichael's not there anymore.
They got Kubiak. Clint, I think Clint's who they got. So I mean, you might want to go. You can go defensive end. You can do. It's your team.
I could go edge. I mean, Jordan Cameron just feels like he's never gonna not be playing football, right? And they've been able. Grandison had a career year, right? He played really well. He's under the contract for another year. I think they're fine. Let's not forget they took Peyton Turner a few years ago too. So I think they're actually might be all right at edge, right? I mean, Latu makes some sense for the future. Maybe he's a replacement for Cam Jordan in the future. But like I said, you still got Grandison and Peyton Turner as well. And then they took your boy from Clemson last year too. That has some flexibility inside and outside.
Henry
Brzee.
Oh, Brian Brzee. He had a great year too, man.
Yeah, he had an under the radar year.
Absolutely.
Debo, go ahead and go down. Receive. This might be too high to take Brian Thomas. I think.
I don't know. He's a home run threat.
Offensive line is an issue too here too. Do you take Jace? See, I'm not as big on Latham as most people are, right? I think weight can be an issue with this guy.
He had a not great year. He could have played better.
Yeah. But people have him ranked really high. I think he struggles in passing off games and any quick twitch defensive end or D tackle going across his face. He struggles with change of direction.
Right.
I guess I have to go Brock Bowers because he's rated number 6 on the list. To me, this is best player available. I'll take Brock Bowers here.
I like it. I think he's the best of both worlds. All right, 15. I'm taking Quinyon Mitchell. Not even thinking twice about it. They need help in the secondary. I love Quinyon Mitchell. He had a great Senior Bowl, had a great season. I think he helped himself. I mean, the way he was shutting down guys in one-on-one drills, I don't know the last time I've seen anything like that.
Man,
and it showed up on tape too. All right,
I'm like you. He's my CB1 right now.
Good. I'm glad we're not alone. Rick will have something to say about that for sure.
Of course he will. What's new? Seattle. So this is interesting too, right? Because Shane Waldron left, right? Could they potentially, and they got a new head coach and Mike McDonald, could they potentially be looking for a guy at quarterback as well? Does JJ McCarthy make sense here? Even though I think Geno Smith is a really good quarterback.
Love Geno.
I think most people will think he's a bridge guy. I think he could be more than a bridge guy, but this is an interesting scenario here. Leonard Williams is also going to be a free agent, right? They traded for him. Could that be an area that they maybe look at? Edge is also an area they looked at because I think they have 1 or 2 free agents on the edge as well. Latu makes a lot of sense here. Pretty good at receiver, good in the secondary. Yeah, I'm gonna go Latu. I mean, one thing that the Seattle Seahawks do, they usually always draft the edge guy in the 2nd or 3rd round. But to me, best available, Latu right there makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I had him on my list.
And Mike McDonald is the head coach, so
I had him on my list at 17 for the Jaguars, and you took him there. Yeah. I'm gonna go inside though. I like both Johnny Newton and Byron Young.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take Byron Young. He's super twitchy. Mm-hmm. Now we got to figure out something.
Byron Murphy, Young.
Byron Murphy. God, Debo yells at me every time I call him Byron Young. Every time, hanging around Rick too much. Byron Murphy the second. I had to get his name right. Now Byron Murphy the first went to. He played for the Cardinals. He went to Washington. The cornerback.
The corner. Yep.
Byron Murphy.
And actually plays for Minnesota now.
And he plays for Minnesota now. I don't know why I call him Byron Young. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna take him inside Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll figure out the other stuff later. But I love his game.
Yeah, me and you were both kind of upset that we didn't get to see him at the Senior Bowl because he originally was supposed to be there. Yeah. But I think the way he finished the season, he kind of realized that his stock was only going up, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't need to go there." So it's interesting that you said that. A lot of people for the longest had Newton as the number 1 D tackle, and we talked about this on the first pick when we were out in Mobile. I had Newton, then I had Byron Murphy, but I would not be mad if somebody took Murphy in front of Newton. So it makes a lot of sense right there.
And by the way, Newton had a great year. Sometimes it's what have you done for me lately, and you fall in love with someone. But they're both great players.
Recency bias is a real thing.
It's a real thing for sure. All right, you're the Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati, they could definitely use a corner for sure. Cooper DeJean has some flexibility to go safety corner. Nate Wiggins makes a lot of sense there as well. They could get a defensive tackle too. So Newton actually makes a lot of sense too.
Yes, sir.
If I'm Cincinnati, they got Nate Wiggins as the 15th overall on this. But
what about JC Latham? They need some help. They need some big guys up front.
They do. I mean, they got Orlando, and then they the guy that they took in the first round from Alabama. I think he's up this year.
Yeah, he's up.
Tackle. Newton.
You're not sold on him.
It makes me nervous, man. The white now now he's a versatile piece. I think he could be a really good guard too.
Here, I don't want to tell my secrets, but there's Jackson Powers Johnson out there. There's Graham Barton out there. There's some dudes out there. They're not on this list because Debo didn't hit the right button. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but I'm saying that we always talk about positional value, right?
Right.
Guards and center, are you taking them in the top 18 unless they're like generational? Because you can get a really good center. We've seen it. Creed Humphrey. We saw
Creed Humphrey can't snap the ball.
Yeah, that's true. Creed Humphrey.
He's good though. He's good.
And then what's my guy? Joe Tippmann last year, 2nd round pick. So
15th overall in the redraft.
I'm gonna go Newton. I'm gonna go Newton.
Okay.
18.
All right. I try to talk you into it, and I guess I'm gonna do it 19. The Rams are taking Jackson Powers Johnson.
Oh, you're taking him that high.
Oh man, he's good. He can play guard. He can play center. He had a great Senior Bowl. Had a good season for Oregon. Needs some interior line help. Got to keep Matthew Stafford upright. And look, the Rams are dangerous when they don't have a first-round pick and they hit on all these draft picks. They're going to
they finally have one.
That's right. So, all right, you're the Steelers. If you take J.J. McCarthy, this show is over.
Oh, I probably should have gave Ryan this pick, right?
No, that's all you. Yeah. Let me ask you this before you even make the pick.
They definitely need a corner because, Pat P's – is Pat P free or has he got one more year?
He may have one more. Let me ask you this.
They're going to move him to safety this year, I think, anyway.
That would be smart. Would you take Bo Nix over J.J. McCarthy, knowing what we know right now?
That's a good debate, honestly.
Because he's gotten a little first-round buzz, but J.J. seems to be the hot property right now.
People are saying that he's going in the first for sure. And I'm like, when did that happen?
Right. All right. I just want to throw that out there before you made your pick. All right, go ahead.
So Pittsburgh can always get better on the offensive line.
Amen.
But corners
don't forget
really
now. They need some help with wide receiver because you don't know what Deontay and George are going to be up to.
But they're going to be there. I think you guys are fine at receiver. You know what? I'm going to help your line, man. I'm going to go. I go back and forth. Should I go Nate Wiggins here? I'm going to go J.C. Latham.
Man, you talked me out of J.C. Latham and you didn't take my guy Nate Wiggins.
Well, I mean, he's got flexibility. You can throw him inside too.
You know who else I would have loved here? I think Cooper DeJean. Because he has that flexibility too. But yeah, no, I'm not going to hate on J.C. Latham because you got Broderick Jones on the left side, J.C. on the right
Austin
side.
Out there still returning kicks and punts.
That's true. I like Calvin. He's a good player. All right, the Miami Dolphins are up. I think they need offensive line help. Where else do they need help?
Well, their whole offensive line is practically free, or Teron Armstead. We don't know if he's going to retire. So, they definitely need offensive line help for sure. And now we're in that range where Tyler Guyton and, Patrick Paul make a lot of sense as well.
Let me see the tackles, Debo. Amir Smith can't stay healthy. I love Troy Fatanu, but he's going to probably play inside, you think?
Yeah, he's got flexibility to go inside. Jordan Morgan is intriguing as well, too.
I was asking Rick about this, and he, of course, disagreed. No surprise there. But I thought Tyler Guyton anchored better than Jordan Morgan. What do you think about that?
I do, too. And to me, besides Olu, I think he has the highest ceiling out of all the offensive tackles. Right?
Let's do Tyler, because
he's athletic, man. And when the player matches the athletic ability, I think he could be special.
I like Jordan. I thought he's a good athlete, but I didn't think he anchored as well as Guyton when he was faced with the bull rush.
Yeah,
consistently.
for sure.
All right, let's do Tyler Guyton, Debo. Offensive tackle. All right, Debo's Eagles are up here. Just so you know, I took a wide receiver in my mock draft, and Debo and Rick both were very, very, very unhappy with
They
that.
probably got after you a little bit, huh?
They got after me.
I mean, cornerback definitely makes the most sense here for them. We don't know what they're going to do at both cornerback positions. There could be some changes there. You know what? I'm going to go Cooper DeJean because I think with the flexibility that he has, he can play
Debo
safety,
loves
he
it.
can play corner. I think it makes a lot of sense there. And now they got Vic Fangio. He'll be able to move him around and play him even in that star position.
Oh no, they kicked Fangio out. Remember? Oh no, he's now in Philadelphia.
No, he's in Philly now.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking about my pick previously. I was like, wait a second, they moved him around. Yeah. And let me ask you quickly about that. Is that weird that a defensive coordinator, if you played for a bunch of DCs, that would not be sharing nicely with others?
That was a real interesting situation in Miami.
Okay, so that was surprising even to you.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and I talked to some people, and then I was like, okay, I can see now where the issue was, right? And let's not forget, remember earlier in the year when Jalen Ramsey came back, he was adamant about, following the number one guy, and Vic Fangio doesn't do that in his system.
Yeah, I get that.
So, yeah.
All right, next up, the Houston Texans. Let me see the edge rushers, Debo, because I'm going to get Will Anderson Jr. some help.
You know, we're signing Gennard?
They should. But we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
By the way, Darius Robinson, another young man that I love out of Missouri.
Some flexibility and versatility there.
Indeed. But I think I'm going to take Chop Robinson right here.
Ooh.
We're not talking enough about Chop. High motor Chop.
I think high motor.
Yeah, I think he's a little undersized. Me and Rick were talking about him today, but I love the idea of him opposite Will Anderson Jr. And you bring back Gennard too, no doubt about it. You can have room for three guys. All right, the Cowboys are up.
Ooh, it'd be interesting to see what type of moves they make, right? Because I believe Tyron Smith is free, so offensive tackle makes a lot of sense at that position as well. I'm trying to think, is my guy Stephon Gilmore free or not? Either way, they got Diggs coming back. They still got Bland. I think they need a D tackle too, to be honest with you. But I don't think any D tackle makes sense that high. Yeah, not at all.
So Steph is done. Oh, he's going to be a free agent. Trevon's coming back off the ACL.
Yeah. So they did lose defensive coordinator yet. Quinn went to Washington. Have they replaced the DC yet?
Mike Zimmer, baby.
Ooh.
That defense is going to be on point, like it's the 1990s.
Yeah. But see, Kool-Aid would fit perfect in his system. The biggest question to Kool-Aid is his overspeed, right? Can he run with receivers in the league? I think if he runs a 4.5, I think that's good enough, especially in that bump and run defense. I'm like, give me Kool-Aid McKinstry.
So you like Kool-Aid better than Nate?
I do. And the return ability too.
He does have that. All right. Next up, the Green Bay Packers. They only draft defense in the first. I can't even look at the offense. I mean, they draft so many offensive dudes.
They drafted so many receivers. You don't need to look at their offense.
Receivers and tight ends.
Yeah.
So Darnell Savage is gone. This is where I would love to have Cooper DeJean because
Cooper DeJean. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna take. I like Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins is my CB 2 or 3, depending on Terrion. I'm gonna take Nate Wiggins here. I ain't gonna overthink it. Oh man, you know what though? Rakestraw might have been a nice pick.
Yeah.
Because Rick made a good point about Rakestraw. He's undersized, but he plays with the physicality. You get glimpses.
Man, he plays so physical. I love that. I love the way that kid plays. I remember telling you about him. You were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to check him out a little bit more." He's a physical dude, man. Real physical dude.
That Missouri team was low key really good. People were sleeping on him, especially on the
both
defense.
sides of the ball.
Yes, sir. All right, Tampa Bay. You gonna get Baker some help?
It's already highlighted. It just makes too much sense, right? We don't know what's gonna happen with Mike Evans. Brian Thomas. It just makes the touchdown machine, Brian Thomas, right? So if you lose Mike Evans, you get a younger Mike Evans.
Faster.
Yeah, and faster, exactly.
Somehow better, a high point machine, too. All right, next up. Oh, this is too easy. I did this in my original mock draft. I'm doing it right here. Took Marvin Harrison at the top for the Cardinals. I'm taking Darius Robinson right here, right now.
Ooh, okay.
I love it.
Versatile piece for Jonathan Gannon's defense.
And Jonathan Gannon knows what's up.
Yeah.
All right, the Buffalo Bills. I've had Bills fans yell at me unless I take a wide receiver every time. So I don't know where you are in that.
Well, you got to think Gabe Davis is most likely going to be gone. We saw how things ended that divisional round, him getting into it with some of the fans there. Stephon Diggs, there's been question marks whether he will be there. Keon Coleman makes a lot of sense. Troy Franklin makes a lot of sense. If Diggs is still there, I think Keon Coleman makes too much sense. You need a big body receiver on the outside while Diggs tears teams up in the middle. But you know what? Corner makes a lot of sense as well, though. But I don't think there's a corner there. Debo, show me the corners.
Yeah, we burned through these corners. Oh, you got Mike Sauce there.
My guy. Woo! I don't know what to do now.
Why not? He's physical. What else you need?
I think it makes a lot of sense here. So you have to outweigh. Debo, go to overall. I just want to see where Keon Coleman was ranked.
They got a ton of this ain't the Lige rankings. This is their rankings.
Yeah, that's true. I'm taking it as race straw, man.
Plus, this wide receiver class is so deep.
Yeah, I'm taking it as a race straw right there, man.
No, that's a good pick.
Physical corner has shown he can play in the slot as well, too, even though they got a really good slot corner in Taron Johnson. I think with the injuries they've had at corner, I think Rasul Douglas has one more year. But my guy from LSU, the
Trey
constant
White.
injury. Yeah, White, the constant injuries. I think race straw makes a lot of sense.
All right, Debo, scroll up to who's above JJ there on the list. Okay, Amarius. They have, I think the Jonah Jackson might be out the contract.
Yeah, the guard. Yeah, interior guy.
You know what? I'm going to take Fatanu because he can kick inside. I like his game. I tell you it every time. Rick hates that he wears shorts on the field, but whatever. He has those high pads on.
That's a Detroit pick anyway.
That's a Detroit pick. So there you go. All right. The Ravens.
They're gonna need receiver because I believe everybody besides Zay Flowers is free. I think Odell Aguilar is free. Bateman, I think did they pick up his 5th year?
Bateman he's still under contract. I don't know if it's a 5th year thing or not, but I think
they got to pick it up after this season, right?
Yeah,
going into this season, they got to pick it up. So either way, he's got one more year. Keon Coleman makes sense. I mean, Mims makes a lot of sense too because if you look at their offensive tackles, Ronnie Stanley stays getting hurt, and then if you look at it, my guy Morgan Moses is getting up there in age. But do you want to get Lamar help right away too? But besides Zay Flowers, the Bateman pick looks a little suspect.
Yeah, Bateman hasn't come on as of yet. But yeah, everyone
else. They also need outside linebacker help too because Van Noy and Clowney, they got the most out of them, but those dudes are getting up there in age.
And by the way,
show me edge. Yeah, show me edge real quick, Debo.
Oh man,
Braylon Trice makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah, this is right around the range.
3-4.
Yeah, this is right around the range. He should be going.
Yeah,
I think.
Give me Braylon Trice.
All right, San Francisco. Amarius Mims done. McKivitz
definitely need O-line help for sure.
McKivitz struggled. He can kick him inside. It ain't hard math. All right.
And then you have it right there, right? The rich get richer, right? Just in case you can't get Mike Evans in free agency, you get a guy that has his size, right? They could probably jump higher than him and Keon Coleman at the end of the first round.
Yep. So now you have Keon and Rasheed. When you didn't have nothing 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, whatever that was.
Crazy.
All right. We got to recap real quick here. So let's see. My favorite pick of Lige's. I think this is pretty easy. Scroll down a little bit, Debo. Keep going. Right there. Stop. I think I'm going to go with, Cooper DeJean to the Eagles is a great pick. I think Debo gives him thumbs of approval because he has that versatility. They need help everywhere in the secondary. And we're not talking a lot about him. He was injured towards the end of the year, and he hasn't been to any of the All-Star games. So we'll see him at the Combine, and we'll continue the conversation.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he runs. I bet he's going to fly.
Yeah, absolutely. And people get angry when I say this, but there aren't very many white cornerbacks. He's way better than Riley Moss coming out last year.
For sure. And Riley can run. And
he was a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to, apples to apples. All right, Lige.
I hear you.
What was my favorite?
Scroll up a little bit. Actually, I'm not even going to. I know who it is. I believe it was the Colts pick. Keon Mitchell. I think it makes too much sense for them. Quinyon Mitchell. We're big fans of his as well. That defensive line set some records last year, which was interesting. I don't think anybody saw that going into the season, but they had 4 or 5 guys get over 6 sacks or something
which is
like
crazy.
that. Yeah. So now you got the corner. If you have the corner out there, gives you an extra tick. The quarterback has to hold the ball a little bit longer. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense for Quinyon Mitchell out there in the Indianapolis Colts.
And they did all that without Anthony Richardson for much of the season. All right, the most questionable pick, that's easy. Lige took J.C. Latham from a Steelers.
You only say that because you're a Steelers fan.
He could have had Cooper DeJean. He took J.C. Latham. Nah, that helps. I get it. I ain't mad at that. The interesting thing is, I think only 4 quarterbacks went. No Bo Nix, no J.J. McCarthy. So that's also something else.
I think that's what it's going to be like on draft day too. I think it's 4 is the max. I don't think there will be a 5th guy that gets in there.
I wonder if the 4th will end up being JJ over Penix, which would be crazy.
That's the question mark, right? That's the question mark. I'm going to say Ryan's pick for the Rams. Now, I love the player. I just
too high,
value. Huh? Yeah, positional value.
All right.
Again, you can get great interior offensive linemen in the 2nd round.
Steve Avila is proof
Avila, Creed Humphrey, Tippmann, you'll get quality guys in the 2nd round.
You got your Tippmann. How many times you got to say his name before you get paid?
I mean, that man was balling. He was the one constant on the offensive line for the Jets last year.
He was my center one. Rookie. My center one. Rick didn't like him because he was too tall. I said, that's okay, Rick.
So I was nervous about his pad level 2 playing inside because I was like, he's a big
6'6"
center or guard. Yeah, he's big. So me and him probably had the same center one, our guy in New York, right?
Yeah, I like John Michael Schmitz too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the one had a better season than the other. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Tippmann went to the better scheme, right? That zone blocking scheme is perfect for him. He can get to the 2nd level. Well, Schmitz kind of struggles at that 2nd level blocking.
Right. All right, that's it, Lige. That's a wrap on this mock draft. But don't worry, we'll be back with more mock drafts like these in the coming weeks. In the meantime, check out With the First Pick wherever you get your podcast.